Nice. Everybody, welcome back to Field of Food Table Talk, episode 59. Picking up where we left off the last episode, we're going to talk about e-scouting. But first, we're going to talk about the organization for this week. That is going to be Conservation Legacy, which encourages youth and veterans and conservation. We're going to start this over. We're going to start this one right over. Everybody, welcome back to Field of Food, episode 59, diving back into where we left off on episode 58 for e-scouting. But before we get into that topic, we're going to talk about the organization for this week, which is Conservation Legacy, encouraging youth and veterans in conservation projects. So if that's something that interests you, which as far as long-term and longevity for hunting, if you like it, it should interest you. Mm-hmm. And if you want to learn more about it, you can find them at conservationlegacy.org. So we're going to dive into e-scouting, but first, I'm going to give you one more but first. Let's talk about the Field of Food Season 5 series that's coming up. Now, we've teased episode 1, which is dual 13 points. We've teased episode 7, which is Old Whitey.
Which one's Old Whitey?
The one with the white thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you didn't record that.
I got some of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You made enough to make an episode?
Not a whole episode.
Part of an episode.
Yeah, it's part of Ohio Gun Week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And let's dive into what's another good teaser. Oh, muzzleloader. So there's going to be a muzzleloader, which is January
3rd.
Yeah, 3rd through the 8th, 7th?
3rd through the 7th.
Yeah, here in Ohio. And I did get a deer, but that wasn't the only thing that I got with my muzzleloader. You'll see the thumbnail to be released. Okay, e-scouting. So we have between the Field of Food group, not including my brother who has an Africa trip. I don't think you can e-scout for that one too well. But that's 2027.
You can try. It's going to be flat and brown.
This season, what we have coming up, which is going to be released or season 6 for the hunting episodes, but what we'll be hunting this year is I'll be in Nebraska, which will be my first trip west of the Mississippi for any kind of hunt, and that's going to be a mule deer, and as of today, antelope hunt, because we got the second round pick. We did not get the first.
Insert applause.
And then you and I will be doing a 9 or 10 day hunt in Pennsylvania.
Running amok in the mountain.
Yeah. And
for a week and a half.
We're going deep into PA. I've hunted PA a couple of times over the past handful of years. Have had some success, but I've only ever hunted the western part of the state. We're going to be central PA.
I don't think you've hunted this long there, have you?
I have.
Length of time as far as hunt duration?
Yeah, I think I've come back halfway through the trip, because that's only an hour and a half.
Right.
So that was an easy return and then get back out there. And that was really nice of the landowners out there because I was hunting public, but I was staying on a friend's mom's property.
Okay.
So it was nice for the landowners to be very open with that concept of me going in and out, which is great. So
not this year.
No, this year we're going to be
camping.
We're camping. And this is going to be a little bit new for you because you haven't hunted out of state for deer before.
Nope.
So we're going to cover the e-scouting. Although intimidating, is actually very easy to break down if you take it in chunks, just like anything else.
I think that's my problem, is I look at it. I was looking at the whole thing.
Yep.
And I was getting overwhelmed.
Yep.
And then I just need to break it out into chunks and go at it better.
So the first thing, and this is very basic, the first thing that I like to look up for whatever I'm going to hunt out of state is food sources. And look at the general area, the big picture of what kind of food sources that species, typically whitetail, hunt, and then see if I can find that on the map. Now when it comes to oaks, that's pretty easy. That's on Onyx, that's laid out for you. But there's also, which we've talked about in the podcast in the past, orange jewelweed. And if you know what kind of environment that likes to grow in, then you can pretty much find it on a map. You can guess where it's going to be based off of terrain and moisture content for the soil. you can't see it on the map. And you're like,
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet it's right there.
Right.
And for some reason, it likes to grow along roadways as well. So as you're driving to your spot where you're going to park or scout, you can be watching the side of the road and say, okay, if there's orange jewelweed here, there's probably going to be deer.
Yeah.
So that's a very highly attractive food source for deer. And it's nice that when they browse it, it's very obvious because the jewelweed's probably 3.5, 4 feet fully grown. If it's nibbled down, there's
deer.
Yeah, there's deer.
Yeah.
So the food source is the biggest target for me. And something that I've learned where we're going to be hunting at, as I've done some more research, is the type of trees that deer would typically bed in versus what the weather is. A lot of temperature extremes, you're going to find very consolidated bedding areas.
Yeah.
It's because that's the areas that they feel comfortable with that temperature. And we're going to be there middle of October.
I would say I would be surprised if we don't start to see a little pre-rut action there toward the very end of our trip.
I think we'll see it the whole time we're there, to be honest.
Even that early,
Yeah,
you think?
I do.
Wow.
I do think we'll see it. We're going to be hunting big pieces of land. And what I've noticed in PA and here in Ohio, honestly, is that until you get to that last week of October, there's not a lot of archery pressure. Now, what we are going to have, which is one of the reasons why we're there, is that muzzleloader season.
Muzzleloader bear and doe season.
Yeah, and we'll see a lot of pressure there. But pressure is not a bad thing. Something that I've learned over the past couple of years is that just because a parking spot is busy doesn't mean that there's still not going to be deer. And most guys use the same trail to get to the same ridges and the same locations year after year after year. I've noticed that if you are able to go to that parking spot, walk up and down the road 200 yards, maybe 300, start checking those little pockets for deer sign. I guarantee you most guys aren't doing that, and you're going to find wildlife there. I've seen turkey do that, and I've seen deer do that, and they're not far. One of the nicest PA bucks that I've ever seen, which I should have killed, was literally right next to where you pull in. And just hope nobody was hunting it.
I heard Dan Infault, you know who he is? Hunting Beast? He said that. He swears by it because a lot of times your big buck sign will be close to parking or watching where you walk in and walk out.
I'll believe it.
They learn the travel routes that we take before we learn their travel routes.
I
100%.
100% agree with that, because we're two boys from Ohio going out to PA. We're going to be starting, at the very beginning of, all right, this is the parking spot. We don't know the ins and outs of where we're going. So when it comes to the e-scouting, like, don't be afraid to look at parking spots and also say, hey, there is actually good cover to the north 300 yards. I'm going to go check that spot out. It's not, as cool and exciting as walking back a mile and a half.
Right.
But punch tag's a punch tag.
I know guys that swear by you'll kill more deer on public in the first 200 yards than you will going back all the way.
Yeah.
You'd stick around that perimeter. A lot of guys swear by that.
Yeah. Well,
You gonna be picky if he comes down to you shooting a buck?
it's the first legal buck I see.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
Yeah. First one horn 3-point that walks by me, getting smacked.
No, when it comes to an out-of-state buck tag, I'm not too picky. It's more expensive. It's a, I don't know, it's a conversation piece.
It is.
And it's at the end of the day, meat's meat.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the end goal for me anyway. Every season is I want the meat.
You don't say.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. I'm Kyle. I'm hungry.
What, like the 5th or 6th episode I've said that in? I'm hungry.
At least.
I'm hungry, man.
All right, so what other things are intimidating for you for e-scouting? What else can help ease your mind?
Well, e-scouting, just because I haven't done a whole lot of it, because like I said, I've stayed very local. Most of my 99% of my deer hunting has been very localized.
Mm-hmm.
No private permission we had when I was younger versus the properties, Dad's place, and the 2 neighbors, which I've hunted for, since I started hunting. I was hunting at the one neighbor's, and then the next year we got the piece in between, and then my dad bought his place, and we just kind of have the run of that big chunk.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm trying to say, I'm more of a boots on the ground type scouter than I can't. Like, it's challenging for me to look at a map and be like, oh, this right here, this is where deer will be, because it's hard for me to visualize it on a computer screen than it is to be out there and looking and be like, yes, this is what I'm looking for. Yeah. Terrain wise or whatnot.
Well, I would say, especially Midwest hunting, because that's all my experience is deer hunting is kind of just like an algorithm. Like, it's hard to learn but easy to remember. If you take the same concepts here in Northeast Ohio, pick them up, put them in Central PA, deer are still going to prefer the same food sources. They are still going to prefer certain topography based on wind. They're going to have certain areas that they want to hang out midday versus evening versus nighttime versus morning. All that stuff applies. If you're able to take that information from what we've learned here in our home state, pick it up, put it down in the next state over, you're already going to narrow down your success rate a lot tighter than you would if you just walked in and said, I've never been here, I don't know.
Well, my big thing, what you focus on, what we did, we had that, what was that, 2.5 hour phone call the one night, looking over the map. You focused more on terrain features, which, to be completely honest, up until maybe 3-4 years ago, I never paid diddly shit to, attention-wise. No. I was always after food, cover. I want to be in the thickest, nastiest hole, but have the opening. And that's what I look for 90% of the time. And then food close by, water close by, some sort of bedding, and good trails. And you're talking about terrain. I'm like,
haven't paid too much attention to that.
How thick's that hill? That hill's pretty thick. There'll be a deer in there.
Well, we do a lot of Southern Ohio public land hunting, and although not the same steepness or elevation, that topography does apply as far as leeward side of wind, sunny sides of the hill.
Yeah.
And that's I think the biggest thing out in PA is that there's a lot more hemlock than there is here in Ohio. We have a lot more dense hardwoods, that coniferous woods we don't have a whole heck of a lot of, especially down south. You probably have more in your hunting history here. It's sticking more local. I'm very curious to see what the temperatures are going to be, because if it's warmer, I think we're going to have to hug the hemlock a little bit more.
Okay.
But if it's cooler, I think they'll be bedding closer to the hard oak food sources.
That time of year we're going, I would not be surprised if we hit a cold front just perfect.
It'd be nice. Last year, 2024, we got so lucky. Every time I had a trip, cold front.
Yep,
cold
I remember
front.
that.
Cold front. I could not have asked for anything better.
I shot that big doe right before I went to the hospital, cold front. I remember I was like, man, this is like my last chance, and it's going to be tonight. I just know it is. But yeah, I'm willing to bet. And that was right around the same time frame. I think that was the 28th of October.
Yeah.
Right around the same time frame we're going to be there. I would put money down we hit maybe not a giant cold front. I'm not talking like that big 20-degree drop. I bet you we hit at least one smaller one, just enough to get them moving. Mid-October, I'm still banking on it being in the 70s.
Yeah,
and then I bet you we get a couple 2-3 days where it dips down to the high 50s.
Well, it's also not like we're going to be hunting a swamp to where the deer are going to be hugging the water edges. Yeah, like with that terrain out there, we'll be able to adapt to the shady sides. Now, it's going to be a nightmare wind-wise. I know that we're going to be blowing stuff out.
Oh, 100%.
But it's just going to be a game of numbers, which is kind of my strategy for Nebraska. Like, I've never spot and stalked something in open terrain before. It's just going to be, all right, if I put enough dollars into this machine, I'm going to get lucky at least once.
Yeah.
That's
play
my plan.
till you win.
Yeah, that's the plan.
It's kind of like turkey hunting.
Yeah, just
set up on 1,000 birds and not kill one. 1,001 is the one you get.
Yeah, if you set up on 1,000 birds and don't kill one, you were overcalling.
Yeah. Or you're just not calling.
Maybe.
Are you gonna call? Do any kind of calling when we're out there in PA? Do you do much calling during the year for bow hunting?
If I have good information on where a bear or a buck is bedding. I will probably get behind cover, whether it's terrain or vegetation, and
sit quiet.
Try and lure them out if it's a last ditch effort.
Okay.
The noises are kind of the same as far as making a scrape and stuff like that goes, because I think scrape noises are going to be very applicable for that time that we're going to be there. For bear, I'm still learning. I've done a lot of research on bear so far, but I'm still trying to figure out what my strategy is going to be, just because I don't have that experience yet.
Yeah, just get a friggin' rabbit distress call, go to town.
Yeah. Do you think we need bear spray? It's black bear.
Yeah, it's black bear.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it.
Nah.
All right, I got our cameraman just freaking out on me right now. We're at our limit.
Are we? Oh my.
It happened quickly.
It did. That went fast.
I hope there was enough tips in there for you guys. I know e-scouting can be intimidating, but I think doing just what we did and talking out with the buddy makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
See you in the next episode.
I thought we were done. I was answering a text.
I like that cheese at the end.